Thank you all for joining. It was kind of fun to get around the crowd a little bit and see some familiar faces that were a part of a lot of the moments and memories that we're going to talk about tonight, going back to 2006 and 2007 with the championships and everything that's come along with that for the Dynamo to now where the club is, where Pat's involved on a day-to-day. We've got Wade Barrett's kids in the academy, and Brian Ching, of course, the legendary club ambassador. Me, Brad, and Dero, we just come in for the free beer this weekend and get to hang out a little bit. But, you know, in all seriousness, you guys were such a big part of what makes the club what it is. I hope you enjoy us kind of sitting here and riffing and talking about and bringing up some of the moments from the past. I haven't seen a couple of these guys in so long, so for us, this is kind of a thrill to throw back memory lane. I'm going to moderate. We're going to let these guys go. You know, I kind of want to start going back to San Jose. I joined the team as soon as you guys got to Houston. You guys were all a part of the team. A very good team in San Jose, the Earthquakes, that then came to Houston. I guess I'd like to start with, let's go to Ching here. I mean, when that move happened, when it was San Jose to Houston, I guess what were your kind of thoughts about coming to Houston?
It was pretty interesting, though, you know, and correct me if my memory's
well, we know your memory's not.
I don't remember things correctly, but, you know, there are always...
the wrong guy to point to.
There are always rumors. I ever think, ever since I got to San Jose, that the team was going to move cities, and so you kind of just got used to it after a couple of years that you're there, and you really didn't, you know, think anything was going to happen. And then, you know, the team calls us and they're like, okay, y'all have to get on a call on December, I think it was like 18th or 15th or 18th or something like that. Yeah. And so we all get on the call and they're like, all right, guys, moving to Houston. I think we're all like, what? You know? And so I didn't know anything about Houston at the time. And, you know, so it was a bit of a shock. You know, for me personally, it was difficult because I didn't have much time to come and look and try to find things, because we always had the January camps where, you know, as soon as January rolled around, you know, it was with the national team for the month, and so...
Not everybody had the January. But yeah, sure.
So it was like literally I had like 2 days to come in and try to find a place, and, you know, funny thing is I started looking at Galveston. You know,
the surfer guy. It's not quite Hawaii, Galveston.
So I started looking at places in Galveston. I was like, oh, they're near the beach. All right, I'll drive every day. And, yeah, and so it's like, and then I started looking at the houses. They're all on stilts. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Like, what is this, right? And it's all brown water. And I was like, yeah, okay, no, I'm not going to do that. But ended up finding one day, came in, found a place, you know, put a deposit down on an apartment. And yeah, it was just a bit of a whirlwind, not knowing what to expect.
How long did it feel before you guys kind of felt settled, I guess, that this was Houston and this was the reality? I mean, a lot of you guys were moving families and kids, and now as a dad, I'm thinking about that as a parent. I'm like, wow, that's a lot to digest and to come, and also a lot of unknown about what Houston was going to bring.
I think you were the only one with kids at the time.
You make Pat feel old now.
I had kids.
You had kids too?
Yeah.
What was it like for you, dear?
You know what? It was exactly what Ching mentioned it. It was uncertainty every year, but we just keep winning in San Jose, and we kept pushing it back. And then I think that year, 2005, we actually won, I think, Supporters Shield.
Yeah,
right. But we didn't, you know, go far in the playoffs. And we finally, I think when they announced the relocation, everyone was kind of like, okay, let's just move forward. Which actually, for me, brought everyone together, because it wasn't like, you know, in this, you know, this league could be very finicky where you could just pick up and, you know, they trade you or something happens and you don't know what you're doing, but everybody was in this together. So I think it brought us to get more closer together. I was like, Ching, where are you moving to? Pat, where are you moving? Yeah. Craig, where are you moving? Where are you guys going? Like,
you guys all picked Pearland.
All the wives, you know, it brought everyone together in a weird way. But one thing I would say is, you know, the organization, you know, really did a good job. As soon as we landed, it was like, you know, we had travel agents here and trying to get us as comfortable as much as possible. We were going into preseason. It wasn't a long window that we had to turn around and find a place. It was pretty short, right? And you know, like you mentioned, I had a family, so I was concerned about, okay, where are my kids going to school? You know, sports activities, what they're going to do when we get here, where we're going to live that's conducive. But anywhere outside of San Jose, according to the cost, we're like, oh, this is pretty good. It's unbelievable. I can get this. I get a box in San Jose for that, a shoe box. So, you know, that part was good. We didn't know the heat that was to come.
A
That
little
part,
bit of heat here, yeah.
I tell you what, when we got here, I think it was January.
Oh, that's
and late
nice.
December.
January's nice.
Huh?
January's nice
Not
weather.
then, man. I mean, it just felt hot. Like I mean, if that was the way it was in January, you could only imagine what it was. But like I said, I think the transition was, the organization did a good job of trying to do their best under the circumstances to accommodate 20 plus players and
Yeah.
responsibilities.
Let's talk about the first game.
So I want to answer when you said, when do we feel like
Yeah, it's
we were
home.
we
Yeah.
was home? I thought it was the first game. The first game when Brian scored 17 goals in one game. And Brad had assist.
It's up for debate if Brian scored the first goal, by the way. I've been
I
waiting
touched it,
like
dude.
20
I touched
years.
it.
Hold on, wait,
took it from
on the
you.
floor. Let him have the floor. I want to hear the jury's case here.
I have such little to say in all of
Get
this,
off your chest.
but this has been 20 years that I've been wanting to say I don't think Chingy touched the ball.
Can we cue the tape?
But we'll still give him the other, 3 goals?
It's celebration otherwise.
Yeah, after 20
Yeah.
years,
Okay, thank you.
I touched it, but
Yeah.
you can have that.
Wait, Ching had 4 and Dwayne assisted all 4 goals. Is that's right?
You have a double assist? You had a couple of double assists.
Oh yeah, that was
The double assist back then.
he padded the stats with the hockey assist. I was actually going to say the first game for Houston 1830s. I mean, wait, you remember that whole thing? Like you guys get here first, I was like, hey, the team is my first day of training with you guys. We're wearing these 1836 T-shirts, which I still have, by the way. I think maybe those will be worth something one day.
We launched it at Lanier Middle School. Was anyone there? No, I'm serious. At Lanier. We were at Lanier Middle School. Yes, we got a hand in the back.
All right.
Okay.
Nice.
Oliver Luck was there at Lanier.
That's right.
So this is you two, right?
Yeah.
You guys went with.
Yeah.
But you know what? I
entrance or
think at
like
that
with-
point we realized there was a fan base that cared. Because it was like, that was big news. Like Oliver Luck, right? He was on the hot seat to change that, and he's like, guys, we gotta rebrand this team.
Yeah.
So that's when we know, okay, there's a fan base. We haven't even played the first game, as Pat was saying. Like we didn't know what the fan base was really like, but when they voiced their opinion about that, we're like, this is a real fan base.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a Houston guy. I grew up in Houston playing youth soccer. We didn't have a professional team where I could go to a game and watch a game. And I wasn't in the match day roster, that opening match. I was up in you remember those old suites, like that you could go up and down. And
Right where you belong.
Yeah, and I just remember.
Where there's parents or the
Yeah,
strollers
there's
are?
parents,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
everything. There's the elevator that took 300, hours to go up from one level to another at Robertson. But I do remember looking out over the stadium that day and seeing like the sea of orange in the stands. And I remember when the goals would go in, you get the streamers behind the goals and the Bataillon and the Texas Army, Texan Army. It was just incredible to see that and that type of support for a team that had no history in Houston to that point. But it helped that you guys came in as a good team.
Yeah.
And I guess that sets the stage for the first year. I mean, the thing that always stood out to me with you guys as a group before I was a part of it was kind of what you said. There was always this feeling of nobody cares about us. We're moved to a new city. It was owned that time. Anschutz, I think, owned like 4 or 5 teams, and the Dynamo were kind of they're kind of the ugly duckling at that time. It's like, oh, we love this team, but how about the Galaxy? And I just felt that there was like this real togetherness of us against the world, and that showed on the field.
Yeah, for sure. For me personally, this was coming to the team in San Jose. Like I was at the very beginning of my career at that time. So personally, I had gone from New York, New Jersey, kid from the Midwest, straight into New York. So I went from there, got traded. Bob Bradley trades me. So I go to Dallas, there for 2 years, go to San Jose for 1 year, and then find out we're moving to Houston the fall. I'm like, what's happening right now?
Just the way you planned it.
But what I will say is when I first got to San Jose, these guys, the culture that they had, right when you walked into it, you could definitely feel a difference. Mm-hmm. Like you'd absolutely feel a difference. It felt different than any other locker room, any other environment. The coaching, the way the guys got along, I think they did a hell of a job of starting and managing the culture right off the bat. To where when you walked in the door, you knew what the expectations were going to be. So for me, and then moving down to Houston, I remember the calls that we talked about. It's like we didn't even all know if we were coming or not.
Yeah.
Right? It was like, are you coming? Dom, are you going? We didn't know anything at that point. So to Dwayne's point of coming down here, we didn't have anything but this group and our teams. None of our families were from here. So we had to come together and kind of put this whole thing together. So it was like us, it was kind of like us against the world type thing. Nobody expected anything from us, I don't think, coming down here. But to be able to come down and be here and have the first year that we did. We knew we were a good group, but coming here and being in Robertson Stadium and, all the moments that stood out for me was like walking out for the playoffs. The season was one thing, but when you walked out for the playoffs and you saw all the white towels going and the environment that it was like
Dream, scream, believe.
yeah, man, it was something special. But like, you have to give credit honestly to these guys that were here at the very beginning that set like that culture. Nobody came into this team from the day that I got here till the day that I was not here anymore. Nobody walked in and was bigger than the team.
Oh, I tried. D-Ro put my in my place. I mean, I guess like we're going to sit here and talk about all the fun memories, but a big part of that too was, there were fights on the field. There were fights in practice. I mean, D-Ro, you and I remember one of you and Rico, you guys going at it.
No, that was
You and
Rico
Eddie.
and Eddie.
You and Eddie.
Eddie.
It's always like Rico and Eddie.
Well, Brad too.
Yeah,
Brad and Andrew.
Eddie's a deciding factor.
But the thing that I respected about that was like everybody left it on the field.
Yeah.
So I mean, there was a moment where I was like, oh my gosh, Eddie and D-Ro are throwing blows at each other and we're pulling guys off each other. Walk in the locker room, come out, and they're like, "Hey man, so you want to go for dinner later?" And it was kind of just known that set the tone on the field. I mean, even you and Pat Ayani on corner kicks. I'm like,
Elbow me in the face, bleeding my nose. I'm like, "What, dude? It's a practice, bro. Come on." No, but Kai Kamara came in one time and he said something similar to Brad that really kind of opened my eyes to, because for me it was always in this environment, right? But not really realizing that when he came in, he goes, dude, I never trained so hard in my life. Like he's like, I never worked so hard in a practice. And for us, that was just an everyday thing, right? And for a guy that was a good goal scorer to come in and say that, kind of was like, well, you know what? These practices are harder than games. That's probably why we're so successful in games. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember being afraid of Eddie just coming like 2-footing me in practice.
But he's always on our team. He's always on our team. We'd have the 3-game tournaments on Tuesdays, right? 7-7. But I remember like my wife would come back and if we'd lost, which rarely happened, Don would always give us extra minutes. Don would always make sure.
For sure.
All the older guys. These guys are on the younger team, so we'd be fine. But I remember and I would just be like, I don't want to talk to you. I'd be so pissed. It was so pissed. But that was the culture of the whole group. Everybody would just be. Those games were brutal.
Because we typically would have Wednesdays off.
Yeah.
And you did not want to lose the last game on Tuesday because you had to sit on that till Thursday. I mean, but that's what the team was.
yeah. Look, Wade, you were the captain of this team. I mean, how did you as a leader? Because as you joked about at the beginning, you're not the most vocal all the time, but you were vocal in the right ways, and you led by example, and you were a strong captain for this group. You kept guys together. How did you find your moments with so many big personalities within the team? Many egos, as we all know, but you were always just so level-headed.
Yeah, I mean, we had a group of leaders on the team, so the leadership didn't come from me. The leadership team came from the group. I mean, Brad, you talked about it. Like that was the culture that Dom built in the team. And if you didn't buy into the culture from day one, you just weren't on the team. So like as a captain, my biggest responsibility was like the coin toss.
Yeah.
Because I mean the team we had an experienced group.
Wade
Tell the story.
Hold on. Wade is being humble. Wade, you're an awesome captain. You're a fantastic captain.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Because you led by your action. You weren't vocal, but you were always on time. You were always your action. You were always pushing us to be the best. I mean, you, Richard Mulrooney. I mean, me and Ching scored goals. That was a flash, and Brad, and Stu too, and Pat's making the big saves. But I tell you what, guys like Weibel, guys like Richard Mulrooney, Mullen.
Adrian Saru was there.
Agent Saru was there, but
Rico,
no, he was
Rico.
But I'm saying like these guys really. When I look at Wade, or when I look at Weibel, we look at Richard Mulrooney. These guys are really like just hard-nosed, hard-working, and you knew that if you had any problems, they would have your back. And that I think made us feel safer. That allowed me to play with freedom, allowed Ching to do what he did, and Brad to do anything. And I know this guy's a beast. And then you messed up or didn't mark your guy in the corner kick. He's in your face. Spitting like, bro, say it without spraying it, in your face, in the locker room. So you didn't want to, and it was like that across the board. Wade did it, but he did it in a very humble way. Where it's like when he was super quiet,
It's like dad getting
let him down. Exactly. And
I'm
great leader.
disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Dwayne, tell the story. You and I were in D.C. together for the congressional game. We were sharing some of these moments knowing we were doing this, and he told a story about when Dom yelled at him one time, because I think Dom obviously created the environment from up top to allow for the strong leaders within the group to lead the team, and he just picked his moments to dive in. He yelled at the rookies all the time. I used to hate playing on Dom's side of the field as a winger because you just knew every two. He'd playing the game for us the whole time. Go left, go right, two right. Stu, what are you doing? I was like, that was D-Row.
No, I mean, we were playing, I can't remember who we were playing, but it was at Robertson Stadium, and we were struggling in the first half. And we're kind of like going through a little slump. And Dom was just pissed, and he comes in the locker room and kicks something, and he got D-Row. I'm like, what? Well, I thought I was having a decent game. And I thought, I thought I was playing okay.
You never had a bad game.
Fair enough. He's like, get him off. And so, we walk in, I see him walk down, I'm like, man, this. So I'm walking down, and Robson, his office all the way down to the right, and I'm walking down there. I go in the room, and he goes, dude, listen, you're doing okay. I just needed to yell at you because I wanted to motivate these guys. So what you're going to do is go back outside and act like you're pissed and just walk out like you're angry. I'm like, are you serious? I walked out the door and I look back and I never forget this moment. I go, bro, you're a genius. Like, who thinks of this? You know what I mean? Like, I'm sweating bullets. I'm walking down there. I'm like, gonna pull me off or whatever the case is. And like Pat says, I always think I'm always having a good game. But I walked out and threw it down and yelled guys. Guys came out, and all of a sudden, we turned the game around. And that's one thing that I believe that Dom instilled with us and Spenny instilled with us is we always believed we had a chance. And that's within the group and with our fan base. In playing at Spartan Stadium or in Houston, we never felt like there was a game that we were going to lose.
Yeah. I mean, I think about all the playoff games. We're going to get to the MLS Cup in a minute, but you talked about the feeling of playing in a playoff game at home. I remember distinctly a series against Dallas here where we were down 1-0 from the first leg.
Yeah.
They scored straight away. I think Ruiz scored. Ruiz scored. And so now we're down 2 on aggregate.
Yeah.
But I don't think I ever felt and looked around this group that anybody was like that.
5-3 though?
Yeah,
something like that?
destroyed him. I think you scored. You had a couple assists. You scored.
He scored
You
a
scored
final.
a
Free kick.
You had a
Yeah.
free kick.
Yeah.
I mean, that feeling for you, though, in this stadium specifically, like you mentioned those playoff nights. I mean, what was it about it that still sticks with you in your mind to this day, some 20 years later?
At Robertson?
Yeah.
Man, just the feeling of the opportunity to get to walk out there, the support that you felt, the group that you went out there with. You guys, you talk about when you feel like you're walking out in something and you're going into the trenches with a group of guys that you know have your back, and a fan base that has your back, and a city that has your back, and you know in your heart you have an opportunity to go win. I mean, I don't think it gets much better than that.
Yeah.
Like that feel like I get the chills talking about it right now, in all honesty, because we can't go back in time. You wish you could, but those are moments right there that you don't take for granted. But those are the ones that still, every time I think about it, a smile comes to my face.
And I'm showing my kids the grainy highlights on YouTube. Do we have HD versions of that stuff?
I think it was an expectation that we all had, right? I think we expected to go out and win. Every time we stepped on the field, we never went out there being like, oh, I think these guys are going to be better than us, right? We went out there and
it wasn't egotistical.
No, it wasn't, not at all. I think it was just a confidence, and I think it was just a thing where we built that over time, and that confidence even carried off when a lot of you guys left, that confidence, right? Still, the team came around, and I think, part of that was Dom, just, the calmness, the expectation when you come into our house, we're gonna take it to you, and I think that just that belief just makes you approach the game differently than a team that's coming in. And I think we really probably put fear in a lot of teams.
People hate
to
it
come
coming
in
here.
here.
Oh, yeah.
People hate it coming
People
here.
still talk
Because-
to me about hating to play in this stadium. I mean, we used to keep the field so narrow. We'd just play long ball up to Ching. He'd bang people around. Me and Dero would be running off, and Brad's set pieces.
Yeah.
And you're the
Well,
best set
I
piece
mean-
taker in the history of MLS. You know,
Thanks, man.
We had a very balanced team, and we all knew, everyone at this table knew that if I didn't do my job, there's a young Stewart coming to try to take my spot. There's a young Jeff Cameron trying to come. There's a young Kai Kamara, Chris Wondolowski. Like if you look at those guys,
don't ask Ching. He doesn't remember anything.
Alejandro Moreno is Venezuelan
I remember that
international. Like, look at that lineup of players coming off the bench.
Yeah.
It's like all of them had amazing careers, not even okay careers, like fantastic. You look what you did, and Cameron, all these guys. So when you
By the
look
way,
over
when
your
was
shoulder,
Jeff drafted? No, I'm being
Second year, I think he was 07. Yeah.
No, when was he drafted? Like
Late.
late,
Oh,
late,
yeah,
late.
late, yeah.
In MLS draft, right? Wando, walk on. How do you think they got to where this is where we talk about like our culture and our environment and our expectation?
I've had this with Ching. I came in off the back of going to Europe at 19 and didn't quite work out for me. I came here to kind of rehab in Houston, and the opportunity came to join the Dynamo. I felt like I was a young player with some talent, but I've forever have said that I would have never been able to achieve anything close to what I had achieved without being a part of this group, because it held me accountable. I learned how to compete. I learned what it meant to be a good teammate. I learned what it took to play at the highest level on a consistent basis, the way all of you guys approach practice, games, things off the field, on the field. Because, I came back to Houston. I was like, oh, this is great. I can join the Dynamo. I'm going to go party with all my friends from high school. And, whether it was
Which
Spenny
you
or
did.
Dom, well, I did a little bit of that.
you did for the first part.
But seriously, and it's things that have been instilled in me, and I try to impart on my kids now, because I think about that. And these were truly some of the best moments of my career. And I think of none bigger than 2006. We're in MLS Cup final. Game goes to extra time. Taylor Twellman scores a goal, and this team didn't panic for a second. Straight from the kickoff, ball goes down the right. Brian Mullen, and the players you talked about, Dwayne, I think are some of the most underrated and underappreciated players of all time. And
100%.
how many rings has Mullen got, by the way?
Five.
Five rings? How many rings have you got?
3.
Three
Two,
rings?
two less than Moles.
Mulrooney has a ton as well, and that moment spoke to that. And I know Brian just did a video on this recently, but that feeling of ball goes in the back of the net, like, let's go, and the ball finds its way to you, you head it, and what was kind of your feeling after that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of luck, but like I said, I think we created our own luck throughout the season, and in games, just by the work ethic and the mentality that we have. And I don't even remember the ball going wide, but I remember Brian kind of beat somebody right off the bat and just gets a cross off. And I, in the time, I don't even think I knew it deflected, but it just was perfect, right? And it was just one of those moments that. Pure joy, man. I don't think I've ever been more excited in my life.
Pat, what about for you? You had the moment where you make the save, and that was like and it was right in front of all the Dynamo fans that had traveled. And I remember the orange smoke coming up as the sun was setting. And what was that like for you as a goalie?
In Dallas's stadium?
Yeah. We should make a bobblehead of that play or something. No, for me, it was actually the coming out for warm-up. The goalies always go out early, right? Because we think we're more important than everyone else, and we wear different colored uniforms. So we come out, and it's just a sea of orange. I mean, and I was like, oh, this is our night.
Yeah.
As soon as they come out, I go, this is our night. So even when they scored, I remember guys kind of going, I can't believe that just happened. And I remember a few people kind of go, we're going to get one chance. We're going to get one chance. Didn't think it would take 15 seconds to get the chance, but you could tell everyone was like, yeah, okay, we'll get a chance here. We'll get a chance. And then, the save was, I felt for Jay Heaps.
Well, you knew he was standing over it like
it was interesting. Like Clint Dempsey didn't take it, right?
Yeah.
He was available to take it, and so the captain at least stood up. I thought Jay was a pretty good captain for New England as well. Stepped up, took it, but watching him walk down, it was the last place in the world he wanted to be. So I just kept saying to myself, if you guess the right way here, you will stop it. And then it was so slow that I just kept saying, you don't mess this up. And I was waiting for it to take a funny hop or something, and so it was a nice moment. And then, I mean, when does a goalkeeper ever get to slide on his knees? And I've had all these forwards slide on their knees right in front of you.
Or was that more of a
No, I slid. I kind of hurt my back. I hurt my back. Anyway, nice moment.
There's a picture in Sports Illustrated, I think, where it was all of us, the three of us, are like yanking shirts and running and like holding each other back to try to get there. And to your point, I have such goosebumps from all of that. I mean, Wade, what was the difference between that and...
Let's go back real quick.
Oh,
Sorry.
God, here we go.
You know, like a rookie, right?
That's
Put
exactly-
in the
that's story.
final to take a penalty kick. You know, the amount of confidence that Dom had in you, and then the amount of confidence that you had as a player to step up in that, one of the biggest moments of our club.
I thought I had a ton of confidence.
To take the best penalty kick.
Banged it just under the crossbar. But now, after 20 years, did you miss kicking?
Oh, absolutely. This is dead serious. So Dom, I got subbed in to take a penalty. Well, that was the hope. I was getting ready to come on. Then they scored, so Dom throws me on the field. I run forward from kickoff. You scored. I'm in the celebration now. Like 2 seconds later after coming on, we go to penalties. Then Dom used to go around and say, you want to take a penalty? I've got you. And, my hand was up. I felt really confident until I was standing over the ball, and the ball between me and Matt Reese. Matt Reese came out and grabbed the ball and shoved it in my chest. In my chest. And he said, where are you going to put it, you little... Yeah. You can fill in the blank. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, I don't know. I thought I used to just smash it down the middle like with power. And at the last second, I'm getting ready to hit it. And I looked and he was down the middle. And so I kind of readjusted and I chunked the shit out of it in the grass. And it goes in the top corner. And I was like, okay, here we go. And for about 2 seconds, I couldn't care if we lost because I'd scored. And I just like this sense of relief because
it's relief. When you
it
score
is.
in those moments, it's more relief than
relief
excitement.
for all of us.
It is, right? I mean, you used to take a lot of penalties, but still when you're standing there and you just know that all those eyes are on you in that moment. I still was giving Winaldo because I've watched that clip back many times, and he's like, "Oh, that's a nervous look," and I was like, "No one." Oh yeah, he's right.
I got a great story because Brad always thought that because he takes free kicks, he could take the penalty shot.
Oh, is this in the
So
in
one
LA?
time he gets the ball, he's like, "Dude, come on,
for this.
let me take the penalty shot." I go, bro, I'm taking a penalty shot. He goes, no, dude, I'm taking this one. I go, look at Dom. He turned, I hit the ball in his hand.
Brad had the ball in his arm, and then he would poke it out.
That was against Chivas.
Brad was so pissed.
He
was so pissed.
Did you
He
score?
was so pissed.
Did you score?
Yeah, I scored. I
You
scored.
had
And
to
then
score.
everything was better after. But
I smiled afterwards. That was
No,
good.
but
I
you
was
were
pissed in the moment.
Oh, yeah.
I was pissed in the moment, but he did get
That was pretty funny.
Wait, what was the
I
biggest?
used that too. After.
yeah,
used
another
that.
guy's
Yeah, on someone else.
Smart, nice.
What was the difference between like 06 and then having to defend our title the next year in 2007? And I guess just that whole season leading into the MLS Cup final in DC.
Yeah, I don't mean to skip over the whole season, but when you think about both championships, I mean, 2006 was like the most dynamo way to win the championship. I mean, with Chingy scoring, I just want to backtrack really quick to what did Dom preach every single time the other team had a kickoff? You press.
Yeah.
Press on the kickoff.
Yeah.
And then Taylor runs his full-length field. They are gassed and can't press on the kickoff, and we score 15 seconds later. It's just like such a dynamo way for us to score.
Yeah.
Pat making the save and all that. It was like joy. Felt like real joy. Mm-hmm. And then defending the title in 2007, I don't know, man. I just remember sitting in. I'm sorry, I'm going past the entire season, but sitting.
We've only got an hour. Sorry.
Sitting in the locker room after the championship in 2007, and again, I just felt relief. Almost like, man, that was like a shift of an entire season, defending, everybody trying to knock us off every opportunity they had. Yeah. I mean, you're the reigning champs. Plus, we weren't just the reigning champs struggling through a season. We were the reigning champs having a great season. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, man, we got to that championship in 2007. we get incredible performances. We get the goal. We get the save in the last. What was the?
Oh, it was a corner, right?
It
Was
was a
it
corner kick. Pat makes the
Pat,
save.
Some
Pat
player
Newman.
at this table, Mark, got free. Remember who that was?
Yeah, it's
I
mine.
never heard
I did want to give you the chance.
That's why I jumped on him after. I was like, "Oh, thank you, man. You saved me. You saved me." Because I didn't want to. I was more thanking him because I knew if I would hear from him, he'd be able to give my face after.
But I'd say, Stu, it felt like relief, like
Yeah,
after
it's
that
interesting.
2007, because man, it was a ton of work to like every single game to go out and have people, aiming.
We're also
aiming
matched
to
up
take
against
down
New
the
England
champs.
again, who obviously we just beat the previous season, so you
Man.
knew they were coming into that game.
Yeah, but even though we
Ready to
beat
right
them
the
both
ship.
in finals, we struggled against them because they always played with the 5 in the midfield, and Dom always had a hard time of matching up, and we'd always switch.
It's the only time we'd match up.
Yeah, it's the only time he would switch it.
He'd
He'd switch his philosophy, and change up our formation.
I don't know if Dom ever changed his philosophy, but definitely,
formation?
definitely the quick shift was we're a 4-4-2 to a 3-5-2.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knew what to expect though, on our team. If
I
we
think we
made that
matched up
shift.
against New England though well too. You look at the personalities, even Stevie Nickel and Dom. I feel like they were pretty similar in the way they went about. The freedom was in the locker room with the guys, but they also held everybody accountable. And just the personalities on New England at that time, I felt like matched us pretty well. So every game we played against them was a challenge.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Without
It's
a
no
Rico.
surprise, even a lot of those guys are still involved in the game in big ways.
Yeah.
Like Noonan, Ralston, like these guys turned into coaches. It was a really good, and boy, feels so good to sit here to this day and still just be able to bust those guys up.
I love it.
Every
chance.
Taylor and I work in media, and every time I'm seeing, I'm like, "How's your MLS?" "Oh, you didn't win a cup. I'm so sorry. Sorry, TT." Because I think he sent a picture from this stadium one time. He's like, "Oh yeah, really? You're wearing your championship rings on air?" I said, "Oh, sorry, man. We had to kick your guys' butts twice." But
yours
it was like a dynasty and like these iconic matchups when you think of other sports that like existed before, kind of in soccer. Like we hadn't had that in MLS before.
I think if you take the whole team and you go back to San Jose, right? If you look at that as a team, it literally was a dynasty. I mean, it was a good 10 years that we
Four
probably made
championships.
the playoffs every year.
6 finals.
We're one of the best teams, right? Yeah, I mean, so for me, I think when you look back, yeah, that was like a true dynasty, and part of it was, all of it was because of the guys we had in the locker room, the mentality that we put in, and just the way, But the funny thing is, like, I think all of us hated losing more than we liked winning, right? Like, Quay talks about that being a relief to win the second World Cup or the second MLS Cup, but I think losing hurt us more than winning, motivated us, and so I think that was true to a man. I think almost everybody on the team, and I think that's kind of was one of the recipes of our success.
Yeah, because winning was just the expectation. We just expected that we were going to win when we stepped on the field.
Yeah. Pat, you're involved in the team in a very meaningful way now, and I guess sometimes you don't realize how good you've got it until it's gone. And the Dynamo, I know all of you fans have been there from the beginning. It hasn't all been where it was and where it started, and that set the expectations so high. But you've done a great job of, you're starting to see the Dynamo, compete again and be in the playoffs, and some real excitement within. What have you taken, I guess, from your experiences then as a player to kind of try to do to bring the Dynamo back?
Yeah, I mean, the one we talked a little bit about, home field advantage, that was one of the
Yeah.
first things we did when we came here. I spoke to all the players at the time in 22, and their biggest complaint was, "Oh, it's so hot here." I go, "Well, that's not changing. So let's embrace it." And if you walk down the tunnel here, I know some people here have heard this story before, but one of the first things we put a big giant television screen in the tunnel, and we put up the heat index. So heat index 103, Spanish and English. Every team has to walk down and look up. Are you kidding me? And it's air conditioned, so it seems great when you walk down the tunnel.
And then boom.
Then you hit this wave of heat, and they're like, "You're kidding me, you're out." But for us though, to try to get back to the point of like, I think this club has a history and an expectation of winning. I think last couple of years we're getting there. We're turning the corner. This year we're not happy about it. We've got a ways to go. But the bigger piece I think with these guys at this table is everybody here contributed to the community. Went out and signed autographs. Went out and read books in schools. Involved with the fans after your family used to tailgate in the parking lot. Half the players would come out and have a beer after. We had autograph alley for a lot of the guys. Wade, you would do that. We'd go and sign autographs, and we felt like we were part of this community. And I think the community felt the same way. And I think if you're talking about our team now, and I don't want to get too much because it's about the history, but I think that's the piece that we're still kind of need to work towards and get there. And that's why I think tomorrow is going to be pretty special for you guys. Like, you probably feel it when you walk around this concourse. People have a big attachment to you, but that's because you committed to this community, and that's the feeling I want to get to our group. And clearly, we should have this talk with the team right behind me. But this is the piece that I'm really looking for, and the piece that we're still working on.
But you talk about the stadium, Brad. You were here when this stadium opened.
Yeah.
We have such a sentimental attachment to Robertson Stadium and what that was, because it was unique, it was special in a time period, but I think we would have all traded to be able to play in a place like this. What was that like for you in that moment, having been there from the beginning to then when that
Scoring the first goal?
Yeah, so
Scored
it
the
was
first goal, yeah,
honestly, it was
perfect.
amazing because I never had a soccer-specific stadium. I never played for a
It's
team
crazy
that had
to
one.
think about, yeah.
So until I got here and this was built, like when I was in Dallas, they were building Toyota Park, but then I got traded right when it
Was that
opened.
the Cotton Bowl you were playing at?
We were playing at the Cotton Bowl, which
yeah.
wasn't so bad either, but we never had a soccer-specific
beautiful.
stadium. So this was like extremely exciting, just praying not to get traded before this one opened. But
Yeah,
no,
about that.
but no, I mean, when this all came together and got put out, I feel like we deserved it, right? I think it was something that we built. We put a lot of freaking blood, sweat, and tears into what we did and what we accomplished, and we had some success here. So we felt like this wasn't just built; it was something we built. That's how I kind of took it. I felt like a lot of guys took it, and then to be able to come out here and open it up and to be a part of it, walk out that day to a full stadium, families here, everybody's here. That was one of those moments where you walk out there and you're like, man, like be proud of this. This is a really moment to like take in, and don't let this fade away as just another moment. Like, try and take that moment to really appreciate that and not be a moment to go away. And then, I mean, to be able to score the first goal was pretty awesome. That was against Dwayne. I don't know.
And Pat, right?
I don't know if anybody realized that. Thank you, Bill Hamid, also for the lack of goalkeeping there. But no, man, that was a special.
coach.
Yeah.
What's that?
I was his coach for sure.
No, but truthfully, that was a special moment.
Was everyone? Were you here then?
No, I was in.
So you were
in
gone,
England,
but
yeah.
you were playing, right? Did you play in that game? Craig Weibel came in for the game as well. So like, it was amazing. I'll remember the table.
Yeah.
You were a coach at the time.
Yeah, I coached here for like a
you-
bunch of
you
years. I
were
don't know if
his
anybody
coach,
remembers.
You were playing.
You had a good job coaching here, man.
The only thing we wanted to do is not let him score the first goal in the first.
That's true. That was
the
we
only
definitely didn't
thing.
want to do it.
See that dancing.
I wanted to so bad.
I know you did.
I wanted to so bad.
Dwayne, you played at some different teams around the league, but what's your feeling towards the Dynamo? Like, what does the Dynamo mean to you to this day?
I still bleed orange, man. It's special. Like everyone's saying here, it's the community that we've created and the family bond and the trust that we have. You can hear it when we're speaking now. It's something that's memorable. Something that, what I really like is the Wade I see now, the Pat I see now, the Ching, the Stu, the Brad. It's like 20 years ago, it's the same guys. Nobody like. Again, no big egos. Like, even though we all have our egos, but we're all like, it's still the same guys. It's like they're all steady, and that for me is moments that I've played on quite a few teams, and and Ching alluded to it. I mean, that San Jose Earthquakes team that turned into the Dynamo, that dynasty that we created was amazing, was special.
Wade, what about for you? I mean, you stayed in Houston after you finished playing, so you must have
can't get rid of me.
liked it a little bit.
Can't get rid of me. I mean that was interesting. When we all moved here, not everybody, nobody knew anyone, so everyone was picking places. Some folks moved down to Pearland, some stayed in the city. My wife and I moved to the city, and I don't know, man, we love it. We absolutely love being here. So this turned into, man, let's stay long term. It's interesting, like when you're in the professional soccer world, you never know. you don't know how long you're going to be someplace.
Yeah.
But I think we loved where we were. We loved spending time together, and I don't know, man.
Do you still get recognized around town?
No,
Like you're on your-
absolutely
your
not. By the way,
100-mile runs?
You were just talking about all this. Like, I'm at the stadium like every week. I'm Wade Barrett. I played for the team. I was the captain. I lifted the championship trophy. I coached here for a long time.
You can bring back the beard.
And I show up every single
That's
week,
true.
and
That's
not
true.
one person ever says anything.
You remember? Do you remember the playoff beards we used to do? Like
The playoff beard
I was
great.
talking about that today.
Were you?
You're the best one.
Oh, mine
All
was
three
amazing.
whiskers.
Yeah.
All three whiskers.
My rookie
was
year, I was
pretty bad, too.
19. I couldn't grow a beard or anything, and so like every day, one of you guys were like, "Hey, have you shaved that mole today on your face?" It was like a couple little whiskers would like grow out of here. So by the time we got to MLS Cup final, I think my mole here on my face had a whisker like down to my chin that I wasn't allowed to touch. I remember everyone used to say, "Are you the only one not doing a playoff beard?" I'm 19.
Pat, I don't know what's happening with the team, but when you make the playoffs this year, you got to do the playoff beard.
I do the playoff beard.
And I think all of us in the stands do the same thing.
I don't know, but it's an aura, right? I mean, the dream, scream, believe thing we kind of joke about, but it became like a rallying cry. The playoff beards, that like it just kind of shifted. I felt like the mentality of like it's playoff time and we're on a mission.
The
and
playoff lines as well.
Yeah.
We'd always
Oh, yeah, the
Robertson.
football
That
field.
was Wade turned that one. Mary goes, "Oh yeah, playoff lines."
That's right. Yeah.
We got a college football.
that time of year again.
That time of year. Here we go.
And team meals at the macaroni grill.
That's right.
That was fun too.
Do you guys have any good stories you want to impart on anybody that you could think of from some of our away trips, or Ching eating all the chocolate chip cookies? What about the packing peanuts with Kai
I think one of my
that was
that was a good one. One of my favorites was always when Dom came in and giving you would say the awards, whatever, it was 150th game, or somebody set a record here and that, and for it was a good probably like 2 years, I think. After every game, Dom would come in and go, "Pat, set another record. Oldest player ever to play in the MLS."
That way, I used to love the away trips though. So when we would be on an away trip and we'd get on the bus after, Dom had this. I don't know. It's like I don't know where it started. It probably started before my time. So you guys maybe tell the story better than I could. But him getting on the bus microphone.
You'll start quiet.
Yeah.
Check.
So we have to win though, right? It would have to be a 3 points. Yeah. So if we won a game on the road, everybody's on the bus, and Dom would grab the microphone and.
Just start a chant.
You want me to do it?
Do you?
Come on, you guys
I
tell
don't
me.
remember it.
Oh, once you hear it, you'll remember it.
Dying.
Yeah.
Dynamo. And then it got louder.
Yeah, and he would just start getting progressively louder and louder, and the whole bus would be standing, and everybody would be singing it, and there'd be F-bombs, and it was just like another small culture moment, like it felt like that was just the way he brought the team together, so good. I mean, it's crazy to think though, like Brad, you saying that this was the first soccer-specific stadium of a team that you played at. You look around the league now, I mean, outside of the NFL stadiums that teams play in, they all have these incredible stadiums, but yet, Rice Eccles were playing in this concrete slab in Salt Lake. Remember the baseball field in Kansas City we played
Dallas,
on?
the high school in Dallas.
Yeah.
Chicago.
Dragon Stadium.
Dragon Stadium.
Stadium was Dallas.
There was one in Chicago too. What was that small place in Chicago?
Naperville.
Naperville. That's right.
Do you guys feel a sense of pride now, though, when you look at the league and of where it's come, and thinking about the part that we all played as a part of that on the field, and the building to help? Because it never felt, I guess it feels in the spirit of this group. It's not a feeling of jealousy and resentment and, oh man, look how great these kids have it. I'm sure there's some of them. I'm going to take the Ferrari. But I don't know, it feels cool to realize that we're a part of that history in a special way.
For sure.
I'd say sorry, go ahead.
No.
The time that I feel that the most is when I'm talking about that with my kids.
Yeah.
And maybe you guys are experiencing the same thing when you're talking about like you're that dad that's like, well, back in my day, we used to have to walk across the parking lot in 110-degree heat, and a cat fell through the roof in the locker room, and I mean,
It's a true story, by the way.
I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of fun to talk about like what what we did build.
That kind of helped us too with our mentality, right? We just felt like nobody really cared. outside of our group, right? Nobody wanted us to win. I remember that being kind of a common theme too. Oh, they want LA to win. They want New York to win. And we were just always like, no, we're going to come in and spoil the day, you know? And just carry that chip.
Do you remember one of the practices we had on the practice field across the way from U of H? And I think you guys had only been here for a week, and all of a sudden, like, someone busts over the fence and was getting chased by a cop and, like, ran. You remember this? It ran right through the middle of the practice field, and everyone just kind of stops for a second. It's like, what's happening? And then 3 cops come running by. This guy's scaling the fence, and Dom's like, everybody to the side for a minute.
Well, playoff time was always the bands came out in practice too. Right? So like we're practicing, and they have the marching band come out, and they're practicing right next to us with the
That
track
was the
team
best. When
throwing the
Dom's trying to
javelins
talk
down
and they're
there,
like,
like,
he gets so pissed. That was the best. He gets so pissed.
And the track athletes that would be like running around the track, and we've got finishing practice, and guys are firing balls, and they're like,
That turned into a
knocking-
fun game.
We had
knocking
like
down track athletes.
world class. It was
Athletes,
Leroy
yeah, yeah.
Burrell was
Yeah.
like training like Olympians, and they're sprinting and jumping over soccer balls. We're like, hey, sorry about that.
Carl Lewis track, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah,
Carl Lewis track.
It was amazing.
I think about all those different moments, but it made it special and unique, you know. I guess I need to tell the Kai Kamara story quickly. But we play a lot of pranks on each other in the locker room.
You could tell the whole story.
Well, I'll tell one of the stories.
not the retaliation.
It's weird. I was involved in a lot of these pranks. But one day I got all those packing peanuts from like FedEx or UPS, and I filled Kai Kamara's car to the top, so he couldn't get in. He couldn't open a door. And so Kai was trying to clear his car out after this point, and he started putting him in my car now. And while I was out doing something on the field, and then I came back, and he had opened his trunk, and all the packing peanuts like spread all over all the parking lot at U of H. And a campus police officer came over, and he wrote him up for a citation for littering.
That was good.
Still funny.
The guy's like, "Are you gonna pay this?" I was like, "No, dude, that was on your watch. That was not my packing peanuts." Oh man. Well, you know, I guess unless these guys have anything else they want to share, I will say from my standpoint, I was really looking forward to being back here this weekend and seeing so many of you guys, because I think we've all touched on it in different ways, but of all the teams that I played on at different parts in my career, I learned when I got to England and was a part of a different type of environment and less of friendships and communal bonds and the way that we have. I mean, still to this day, 4 or 5 of you guys, I mean, I consider everybody friends, but I talk to Ching all the time, Dero, like, I made some really good lifelong friends from this group, and I feel the same type of excitement that I did when we played together, I think, and relive these moments. And you know, I feel thankful that I was a part of that group, because to your point, Wade, I get to talk about my kids, and to walk my kids out tomorrow as a part of that, it feels like a proud moment for me. Yeah, my kids, they said they're gonna, my daughter can play up front. But you know,
Dwayne's might be.
but Dwayne's kid is playing tomorrow potentially, which is insane to think about. So, you know, I just want to say thank you to you guys for, you know, being a part of that for all of us together.
Same, man. Patty, like, thank you guys being a part of this now, bringing us all back in here, giving us the opportunity, like the culture and everything. Like, this is fun. Privileged to be here. So thank you for allowing it and putting it all together, you and your staff.
Thank Ted Siegel.
And you know, I don't think you guys are such a big, important part of that. I know everybody has reiterated that in different ways, and you don't need us to tell you again, but truly thank you for supporting us from day one. You create the environment that we're talking about with the, you know, the playoff moments and standing there. And you know, I believe that Pat is going to get this club back to creating more of those great moments that we can all have together. But you know, those were special times for us. I hope they were for you. I know we get to share moments and stories, and you guys tell some of the moments of where you were and what it meant to you in your life. And so we feel thankful to have been able to kick a ball around and to impart some type of joy and community and all of that, because it's what makes the Dynamo so special. So,
Have you guys ever thought about what was your favorite year ever? I mean, I
In
never
life
really.
or
No,
like-
like playing wise, right? Obviously, along the theme of like, yeah, like was 06 kind of your guys' favorite, or I don't know. I would have to say probably I had
I'm
the
in
most
this role where I'm
achievements
in now. I should say 06, shouldn't I?
Well, you don't have to. No.
But I would say that's why 06. It's funny where you guys it's neat hearing you guys reminisce about 06, because I just thought it was inevitable. because in '05 was my favorite season playing.
Yeah.
We lost, I think, 4 games
Yeah.
all year.
That's right.
We were. We
got
would
knocked
go.
out in the
We
first round
were
that
actually
way.
bored.
Yeah.
We'd go to the games and you could see we were unmotivated stepping on the field because we're like, we're going to win. We get scored against, so you could see the guys like, oh, right, here, challenge. Right, we're going to win 3-1. This will be great. We were it's the most amazing team I ever played with. And then we blew it in the first round. So I felt like when we came here, and it was the same group essentially, adding a few other pieces, I'm like, how can we possibly lose MLS Cup? So if you ask me that season, but the 06 season for me was like, oh, for sure, this is happening. Like after you talk about the very beginning of this conversation, was that first game, I'm like, this is going to be easy. This is going to be fun.
What about you, Sam?
I mean, personal achievements and everything, it was probably '06 for sure. As I never really thought about it before, but now kind of reminiscing about it, yeah, I think '06 was probably the best year for me.
I mean, every year we won is the best year. It's special because I won with you guys. I mean, I think, did you win 4 with me too, or 3? 3.
It's
But
tough, tough when you lose count of championships.
all 3. No, this is it. No, but it's man. Every year was special, but definitely '06 and '07. If I could combine those 2 years, because to win it was one thing. After the adversity went to relocating, and to win it again the next year, back to back against New England too, that was crazy. So if I could, am allowed to put the 2 years together, it would be those 2 years because winning back to back is really unheard of. So, and with the same guys.
B-Red? I mean, you went to a World Cup later in your career, in 2014.
That's not a bad year.
So yeah, that's one of the personal ones. But truthfully, I would have to probably go back to 2006 again, and because we won. But it was again when I go back to where I said that I came from before that to this type of environment, it was more winning that, but also the excitement of what's to come. Because I knew we still had a good team and we were still going to compete down the line. We won in 2007, and I don't remember the dates very well, but I know we were still competitive the next couple of years. We hit a small drought where I think we missed the playoffs for 1 year or something, but then we came back in 11 and 12. Didn't win, but we still got to the final. So for me, I think I would say that is the most exciting season because we won, but also because of the excitement of what could be coming down the pipe as well. And knowing these guys had done it 3, 4, 5 times, and the younger generation of, okay, if we're gonna be here, this is gonna be exciting. This isn't gonna be an opportunity for us to carry that torch on.
Wade?
Yeah, I don't know.
Captain put a button on it?
No, I will say I did think, Brad, I thought 2008 was maybe our best team.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't the best result when we got to the end of the year, but we played something like 50 games that year.
That's true.
And maybe one other thing I'll point out is, some of the games we played in Superliga and in CONCACAF, holy
Competing
smokes,
with
those were some of
the Pachuca battles.
the
were
Pachuca
epic.
series in particular. Then playing Pachuca in, was it CONCACAF or was it Superliga when
finals?
Joseph tried the Panenka?
Oh,
you
my
remember?
goodness, don't bring that up.
Anyway, but I mean, some of those games were some of the Pachuca series in particular. I know we didn't come out on the winning end of that, but the 2 series, the 2 games in that series was one of the I think most fun experiences that I had. Some of those games were, man, the stadium just came alive. It's cooler playing something like that and Columbus on a Wednesday night or something like that.
Yeah.
That was
Speaking of
really
losing,
fun.
we lost. That was the New England. We lost in New England on penalty kicks.
On penalties
Yeah,
in
the
the
final.
Super League
Final.
final.
Yeah, I
That's
remember
right.
That was 2008.
No, I think that's
7?
after I left, I think.
But we won a lot of fans because
2000.
of the strong Latin fan base. We were beating Mexican teams here,
Yeah.
left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Pachuca we beat here.
Yep.
And then we went there and lost, was it overtime? It was 5-4 or something like that.
Yeah.
They scored offside. They were offsides, I think, on that goal too.
And they opened up the stadium.
Remember
Remember
those
that?
losses?
They
Yeah.
didn't charge any ticket. They didn't charge admission,
Yeah, yeah,
and they opened it up.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was
Good times.
Good times.
Good times. So are we going to run it back? Will we play tomorrow, Pat? What do you think?
Yeah, sure, for sure. Can't wait to
I'm ready.
dive.
You can put me out for a penalty shot.
All right. Well, thank you all for obviously being a part of this. And thank you guys for turning up
Yep,
and listening to us
thank you.
knuckleheads reminisce.
Dale, 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 dale.